So today our topic is creating knowledge, mobilizing people, and taking action to improve education. And in this session, I can see that we would learn about how we can grow our own influence and share our own expertise using this particular mechanism that we're very fortunate that we have Gina with us. She is the director of the Professional Educator Learning Hub. She guides this whole process about how we can generate growth and collaborate across different community partners and within ASU entities, and then transform our research into high quality professional learning that reaches educators at scale. So with that, I'm going to introduce Gina here. Please continue to ask questions in chat and we'll respond as best as we can. If we don't, we will get back with you and try to respond that way. And with that, I will ask Gina to go ahead and start the presentation and introduce her team as she goes along with that. Gina?
Thanks, Saru. Can you guys hear me okay and see my slides? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi. I think I know almost everybody here. I'm Gina Wilt. I direct our professional learning work in the college. So I've worked with a lot of the faculty that are in the room right now, as well as with other teams like Next Education Workforce, Center for Whole Child Education, as well as units outside of our college, but in ASU and external partners to bring together a portfolio of professional learning that is all offered and hosted on the Professional Educator Learning Hub. We have a QR code there that goes directly to the Professional Educator Learning Hub. The link to the slides are in the chat. And with that, I'm going to pass it to my team to introduce themselves and what they do. So with that, I'll pass it to Karina.
Hello, everybody. Karina Cashard here. I am the program manager with the professional learning team. So I help with external partners or internal partners as a partnership is created, and we're going to move forward with any sort of creation of a professional learning offering. And so I work with the Oodle team, the marketing team, internally with faculty, basically anyone necessary to produce the product and get it into that development and ultimately launch phase. I also help just anywhere that's needed and anything in between.
Kinnery, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Kinnery Patel. I'm a product manager on Gina's team. I'm mostly focused on the back end side of it with professional learning. In terms of my role is basically to build the gap between the user and the development team. So I'm mostly in the back end for development. And yeah, nice to meet you all virtually.
She's the magic behind the hub. Megan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, absolutely. Good morning. I'm Megan DiFrancesco. I'm the program coordinator for Gina's team. Similar to Karina, I kind of coordinate day-to-day operations of the PELH, supporting faculty. I've had the pleasure of supporting lots of faculty here today, but also facilitators, external partners, just making sure that there's a smooth delivery of courses, releases, and then also the learning experiences, and also play a role in continuous improvement of our offerings. So very nice to be here.
Thank you, guys. Okay, link to the slides are in, I posted a few times in the chat in case anyone new has come in. And again, the link to the QR code links directly to the hub. But to get started, we wanted to ask a fun question since it's Friday. If you suddenly, and just put this in the chat, you don't have to unmute or anything. I'm going to keep going with the presentation, but I would love to know, what would you do if you had a free afternoon, no meetings, no email? What would you do? I put my response there. I would take a nap with my dogs. That's what that picture is. Yeah, throw your answer in the chat if you have one. Okay, so today, oh, that's awesome. I like yoga and museums. Okay, today we're talking about connecting faculty strengths to our work in the PELH. So the 5 things that came to mind as we were putting together our slides is really starting to continuing to build a shared vision for advancing educator learning through the PELH, really lifting up and expanding faculty reach as innovators, really finding ways to amplify their research, teaching, and projects so that you could have impact further beyond courses and research. Knowledge entrepreneurship, shaping future roles in education. As you know, education is rapidly evolving. There are a lot of new educator roles and school models right now, and looking at how we can help shape those future roles. And most importantly, an invitation to engage in this space. And I am so excited to share some of the faculty examples that I have. And thank you for so many of you guys who came today, who I asked to come and be able to say a few words about the amazing work that's happening in different spaces. And not everybody always knows about what's happening with different folks. So this is a really great space for us to highlight and lift those projects up. So at the heart of this, Sarup, I think you hit the nail on the head when you started talking about faculty ideas and work amplified so that we can reach further, transform research into impact with educators in a lot of different ways. And when you hear about the different ways faculty are engaged in this work right now, I'm hoping that it triggers more ideas and interest in new projects and innovations that you've been thinking about. Gives us opportunities to shape the future, to bridge your research into practice, and to join forces. You're going to hear also a lot of really cool examples today about how faculty have partnered with other faculty, with other in the college, outside of the college, with teams, inside and outside of the college, and with external partners as well. So big picture, the work behind the PELH is to advance educators across school systems industries. So we're really looking for not just impact and reach in K-12 systems, but also growing our portfolio around offerings related to higher education and nonprofits, government, community organizations, and even corporate settings where learning and teaching are happening. So really looking at not just the education system, but education adjacent sectors as well. Looking to have adaptability and flexibility in our offerings to really support educators in career progression, creating routes and pathways for advancement from entry-level roles to leadership or into other systems and sectors that they're interested in. And we're both current and future focused. I think you'll see that in our overview of our content and portfolio, that we have a lot of content that is geared towards the needs that we know educators and schools have right now, but also looking towards emerging roles and future needs as well. Okay, so in a snapshot, the next couple slides are just some information about the hub in general. And this is constantly growing. I think this slide, I think we created this maybe 4 to 6 weeks ago, so we might have more than that now. But we have over 50 different topics, 7 different learning formats, over 2,000 educators in the hub now, over 100 schools participating, 7 countries, and 25 organizations. We have flexible learning formats. We have over 300 offerings right now. I think my team will probably correct me on this. I think we have 321. Did I say the number right, Kennery?
336.
I didn't get, okay, so that was outdated. 336, wow, that's crazy. Offerings and growing that portfolio. I anticipate that by the time we get to this time next year, we will likely be closer to 450, maybe 500. We have quite a few things in the pipeline this year. We have courses that are facilitated or self-paced that can earn certificates, CEUs, and some opportunities for graduate credit, which is also a barrier that we have in the university, but also some opportunities for improvement in that space this year, which I'm really excited about. We have micro credentials, which are digital badges that are competency based and support career pathways. Power ups as short, interactive 1 to 2 hour learning bursts, events and institutes. And this year we'll be growing a portfolio of tools and resources as well. Lots of different topics. This is just a snapshot. If you go into the hub, you'll see a lot of these topics here, but we have sets of topics like around durable skills, whole child education, special education, STEM, math, refugee education, early intervention, civics history, media literacy, just a wide range, and launching more all the time. We're launching this fall the lead teacher and with next education workforce courses and preventing school violence, which we partnered on a grant with another college. Sarup was involved with that project, and that's rolling out this semester, which is really exciting because that's been in the works for a while. And we have a growing number of content partners. We have external partners such as America Succeeds, Childhood Education International, Youth Service America. The list goes on, and the external partners continue to grow. You'll see in the hub, there's stuff with XQ, Big Picture Learning and Education Reimagined are coming along very soon. Actually, Education Reimagined, that course just launched. That should be in the hub now. But we have a growing number of external partners that are partnering with us in different ways, some through grants, some through gifts, some through offerings that they're already offering through their own channels, but want to amplify and scale their offerings. We've also partnered with some amazing grants, Acclaim, Prevent, TSL. I'd say Acclaim is such an amazing example. When we get to that, I can't wait for Lauren and her team to speak to that, because it's done just such great work with offering no cost professional learning to educators and like opening up a much lower cost pathway for students into the master's program, which I know a couple of our students have gone through that pathway, and that's amazing work that we're doing for educators in the field. Plus, we have content partners in the college, of course, through faculty and grants, Educational Media Center, I think, Principled Innovation, Next Education Workforce, Center for Whole Child Education, our student services team and advising is working on some content. The Oasis LFC, Kathy and Aaron are here. We've rolled out some courses with them, and we've been talking to Teacher Prep about some potential offerings there. And then even at ASU, but outside of our college, like ASU Prep, ETX, LEI, College of Global Futures, and Interplanetary Initiative. So a wide range right now of content partners and ever growing, which is really exciting. A little bit of user data. We have about, and there might be any updates. So Megan and Kinnery, if you have any new updates on this, but when we created this slide, we had about 1,200 PELH accounts created, about 2,200 enrollments across all of our courses. Power-ups right now are the most enrolled format, which are the shorter form courses with about 1,200 enrollments. And a lot of those enrollments are in the no-cost free ones from XQ, Durable Skills, and Refugee Education. We're getting very positive feedback. We have surveys embedded in all of our learning experiences so that we can continuously improve and know how our participants and learners are impacted over time. And then just some areas of focus for us this year. I don't think I mentioned this at the top, that we launched last year in August. So we've been open now for about a year, a little bit over a year. And this year, and I'm sure my team would have giant head nods to this, has been a huge learning curve for us. Learning about like not only the platform, Kinnery is doing amazing work with features, trying to figure out the user experience and the user interface. But we're going to be doing a lot of work this year on redesigning some aspects of the website to have more clear pathways for both institutional partners as well as direct to learner, for there to be more clear role pathways and ways to partner with us. So there's going to be a lot of website work this year that we are super, super stoked for because we are, as we've navigated and launched, we've all the time we're thinking of new ways that we can make it valuable, create value both for our learners and educators as well as the partners that we work with. We're piloting new formats, tools, approaches to learning. We're exploring mini courses with Oodle, working with Learning Enterprise and Graduate College around the new credentialing framework. It's a stackable framework that we will be building into, which I think will be amazing and will also help with the UI, UX, and user experience on the site and creating those pathways, and growing our partnerships and catalog. Again, that is something that continues to be just a real exciting piece of the work, exciting and overwhelming. I'm sure if anyone from, Sean's here, or I'm not sure, I don't see Meredith, but I'm sure her team is like, oh my gosh, like there is a constant pipeline of content ideas. So those are some of the things that we are focused on this year and improving in our site. But now I kind of want to get to the part that is the most exciting, in my opinion, is really sharing about faculty projects and growth and like sharing some ideas. So as we're talking, please feel free to share any questions in the chat and share out any ideas that you have or questions. But a couple of things before I get into some of the examples is to just share some key points that I think are really relevant for faculty. That there's really an opportunity with our Professional Educator Learning Hub to think about faculty research and innovations and how we can transform them into professional learning products, power-ups courses, digital assets, credentials, events that educators can access worldwide. We're thinking about that already a lot with our faculty in the current projects that you're going to see, but I think that we have immeasurable opportunities for growth in this area. And the more ideas, the better. The more ideas that we can start generating within ourselves and with partners, I think we can have even more impact. We have a revenue model that on two ends. I mentioned before about the Acclaim grant, that their grant provides no cost access to educators for micro credentials, self-paced courses, facilitated courses, and those facilitated courses lowering the cost for a master's degree for educators. That's amazing. And we have other grants like that. The Prevent grant is set up like that as well. So when we roll that out, there will be opportunities for no cost for educators to come in and take those specialization courses. We also have a revenue model that allows for creating sustainable revenue streams in the college or for centers or teams, and that recognition for faculty and bringing your research and work to greater markets. We have, like I mentioned before, we have been growing a partnership ecosystem, which has been just really growing faster than we could have imagined, and thinking about partnerships. And when we share some of those today, hopefully that might trigger some ideas on your end as well. And then, of course, really thinking about how we're workforce aligned and thinking about the evolving educator roles and workforce needs and how we are building and innovating towards those needs to support educators and learners. So just a couple wonders to think about as we're talking through some of the examples today. I don't want to read these out loud to you guys, but basically I want you to think about like what are some ideas that, maybe some untapped opportunities that we have in the college and your work with in connection with partnerships or other colleges that we would want to bring into new spaces with educators. So with that, I'm going to launch into the first three examples, which is Project Acclaim, the Prevent Grant, and TSL. I think most of us know about TSL, so I'm probably not going to go too much into it, but you have access to the slides and should be able to look at any of that. But I would love to take just a minute, maybe Lauren, if you'd be willing to share a little bit, like just a minute or so about the grant and impact, and then maybe Sarup, if you could share for a minute about Prevent and your knowledge of that, that would be amazing.
Thanks, Gina. I can't believe you just said it's only been launched for a little over a year. It feels like it's been a very long year. Your team has done amazing work, and it's really cool to actually see everyone here, and not just be an email connection with you all. So this is a Department of Education grant. We are just finishing up our second year of it, and we wrote the grant. Gina helped think about how to write the grant in a way where we could contribute to the hub and have the hub be where the courses and micro-credentials that we created, where they could be stored and where people could access them. So this project is focused on professional learning in civics education, history education, and media literacy education. And we partnered with the Cronkite School and Shippers, which houses the history department and the Tempe campus, to create a specialization of 9 one-credit equivalent courses in those areas that for K-12 teachers, not just social studies teachers. So we've had all kinds of different teachers, and we've had kindergarten teachers and 12th grade teachers. The first year we partnered with Mesa Public Schools. And so our first year we had 25 teachers in the cohort, all from Mesa. The second year, which we're just finishing, was 50 teachers from around the state of Arizona. Our third year, which we have continuation of our grant for some reason, we're able to continue supposedly starting October 1st, and it will spread it out to 100 teachers from around the country for that one. Along with the facilitated courses that we created, that Gina was saying that if the teachers successfully complete all 9, then they get those 9 credits. They can apply it towards the MA in Education in Mary Lou Fulton, which is huge. There's also a stipend that they get for every course that they finish, up to $1,500 for doing all 9. That has attracted teachers, which is good to have the grant for that. So along with the facilitated courses, we created standalone micro-credentials, which basically, I'm just putting a flyer in the chat that kind of explain the difference between the micro-credentials and the facilitated courses. The micro-credentials can stand alone, and we also have grant funding to be able to pay for teachers who aren't in the cohort and around the country to be able to complete micro-credentials of individual courses. So they could do a micro-credential just on historical inquiry, which is one of the courses, or civic reasoning and readiness, or media literacy and digital citizenship. And we actually have had grant funds to also be able to give small stipends for people who complete those as well. And there were also self-paced courses developed as well. And we've used those for people who need more content knowledge to complete the micro-credential, can opt to do the self-paced course. And so our grant has been able to pay for those as well, some of those as well. On the slide, just you'll see some lessons learned. And so we were in on the ground floor of working with Gina's team, and I think we didn't know what to expect, and we actually didn't even know that all these different things would be created as we were doing this. So we were kind of surprised, like, oh, there's self-paced courses too. And Meredith's team has been amazing in that regard as well. So I think other people who are thinking about applying for grants like this, I think there's now more knowledge from all of us about how this might work. And I'm happy to chat with anyone about that. We had attrition was an issue in our first year of this, but we adjusted, and the instructional design team was amazing. We went from 5-week courses to 4-week courses in the second year, and stacked them instead of they were taking 2 at a time, and teachers are so busy. So now they take just 1 at a time, sort of back to back to back. And our attrition rate is much lower from our first year, which is a really good thing. So we were able to pivot and so forth. And it's been really interesting. We have had really good feedback from the teachers on the courses, and the Canvas platform and how they're set up and so forth. And the instructional design team has been amazing. So we're excited. We're excited to have a third year. Again, fingers crossed that we're starting a new cohort in January. So if anyone knows of K-12 teachers who might be interested in any of this, the micro-credentials or the whole the 9-credit specialization, there's information on that flyer, or you can directly contact me. And I just want to shout out before I stop talking that I've been working on this with Leanna Archambault, Lindsay Spangler, and Tara Bartlett as well in Mary Lou Fulton. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Lauren. And special thanks to your team. Like, it's never easy to launch a new technology and platform and whatnot. And there have definitely been hiccups along the way, but man, less now actually than we did at a year ago. So yeah, Kinnery, special thanks to you too for navigating those. Sarip, do you want to share a little bit, maybe just a snapshot about the Prevent grant?
Sure. So Prevent Grant is in collaboration with the Sanford School, and the primary investigator on that one is Sarah Lindstrom Johnson, and we're working together on developing courses. And like Lauren mentioned, we were fortunate to have so much funding available to us in terms of developing these courses. And so we developed core courses and specializations for administrators and school resource officers and mental health professionals. And the idea was to focus on this issue that we have about school safety. And that's where we all came together and coming up with these core courses and specializations. And, basically, Gina's team has been really, really great in terms of assisting us with how to put these micro-credential courses, power-ups, and core courses together. And also Meredith's team has also helped, us in having those instructional designers and putting those courses on Canvas. So we're still in the planning phase. It seems like we would be launching our first course sometimes in spring. And they have all gone through the review process. It's a pretty intense, good process that's all laid out. I think it's a great experience to work with your office. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's really exciting that those courses are rolling out soon. I know we just met with marketing about getting the word out on those, so really exciting. I'm going to skip over TSL, but please feel free to look back. A lot of it is information from last year as well. But I want to share some of the new projects that you might not be aware of. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly just so that I could get through all of them, but would just love people to chime in just a moment about the work that they're doing. So this year we've had some, in the past year, we've had several STEM offerings created by Michelle Jordan and Ying Chi. We've had the early intervention specialization courses created with Bjork and Katie, which we've rolled out and are completely launched. And Bjork is working on now getting those into CRC as omnibus courses so we could create that pathway into the MA in education. Bjork, I'd definitely love to hear you chime in just a minute about it. We have special education offerings that were created. Special thank you to Erin and Kathy, because special education is an area that we need to continue to build more and more out, because it's a high needs area, as we all know, in education. It's the area that probably, no matter who I speak to, there's input and feedback that we need more. The lead teacher specialization is launching right now. This semester, we have a cohort that's starting, I think, next week in those courses. That was with the new team and Brett Madden and Lennon. We had our durable skills courses that Sarah Carranza helped with, as well as a set of power-ups for high impact strategies for foreign national educators. That was actually a partnership with ADE. They host that content. They're licensing that content from us, but we also host it in the PELH as power-ups. Jill worked with some others as well on some refugee education courses and power-ups. Center for Whole Child Education has a set of courses that are fantastic on the PELH. Ron Beghetto worked on the pedagogies of the possible specialization, as well as we've been talking about piloting his AI Possibility Lab bot in some of our professional learning courses. Barbara, thank you for the math, reasoning, and argument courses for elementary and middle school. Super excited. That's another high needs area. Audrey worked with some doc students on an assessment course last summer that we launched with about 75 district leaders and educators. Lindsay Moses is working right now on literacy power-ups. Janelle White-Taylor has some content in there, and Janice Mack has a ton of content in there on tech design, computer science, and learning engineering. So with that, I want to go back, maybe Bjorg and Katie, just to hear your thoughts and maybe to share a little bit about what your idea was and what you've built out this past year, because I think it's incredible.
Thank you, Gina. So a lot of this work around the early intervention specialization started about 5 years ago when our state of Arizona was tasked with putting together a committee around the comprehensive system of personnel development, CSPD, ensuring that the workforce is prepared and ready to work with children with disabilities from the age of birth through grade 8. And through that work, we found that this 0 to 3 space often has limited access, or at least in pre-service programs don't have as much access to birth to 3 content. And that's across special education teachers, OTs, PTs, SLPs, and other areas. The other thing that we found is a lot of times folks will enter this work after a different career. And so they come into the early intervention space like transitioning careers and may not have content knowledge or expertise, or need some, additional supports and like gaps in knowledge around the 0 to 3 space. And we also found out that those folks are required to do 9 credits of content knowledge, so building their skills within that 9 credit. And so that fit in really nicely with the Learning Hub and what was happening there without that 9 credit space. We also wanted to make sure that the content would be accessible, so folks wouldn't have to register to school or apply to college in order to access the content and the professional development opportunities. So this has been a real labor of love. We built this in collaboration with Arizona Early Intervention Program and with the CSPD, which is individuals from across organization, early intervention programs, other faculty and other programs, community colleges, 4-year institutions, related service providers, and those folks. So we're excited. We're launching October 6th with our first course, which is infant mental health, and we'll have assessment processes and then child development coming up next. And just as a caveat, or also, we connected all of this content is directly related to the DEC standards for EI and ECSE practitioners. So I hope that's what you want me to cover.
No, that's perfect. And thank you. I just want to say, Bjorg has been a champion in figuring out, because one of the things that we're learning throughout this entire process with all of these products, we have, what did we say, 336 products now, how to, with such a large catalog, how do we're marketing the PELH, but we have a lot of products, and how do we share and get the word out there to relevant parties? And Bjorg has just been a superhero with us and trying to figure that out, and figuring out lists for who to send this to, and working with our team and marketing. And thank you for that, Bjork. We're very grateful. Anyone else if there's anyone else that would like to chime in to share a little bit about the work that they've done in any of these spaces, welcome for any ideas. I want to share one more though, and then I'll kind of open it up completely. But because I thought this one was just incredible. And Lirio, are you here? I thought I saw.
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Okay,
Sorry.
you're here. Hi. Do you want to share a little bit about the idea that you just recently, like in the last couple of weeks, as I was working on this, I met with Lirio one day and she brought this potential project. Not sure if it'll move forward. We're hoping so, but I just think it's really good for us to share the ideas that are coming across because like this one I think is really innovative and different. So Lirio, I'll pass it to you to share a little bit about your idea.
Yeah, it's still really in the invitation brainstorming stage. I know Labriola, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it's the ASU's component of the library that has historical documents dealing with Indigenous communities in Arizona. They also offer workshops and resources for educators who work in Indigenous communities or serve Indigenous students. And, I've gone to meetings with them and I've been a part of some of their presentations, listened to them. They have really great things. And I work with Indigenous students. And so I'm always looking for ways to support our Indigenous educators to be able to access quality professional development. And so I had already in the process recruited subject matter experts from the community to create community educator nano courses. And I also had asked Labriola if they would be willing to do community educator nano courses. They're really busy and they've got a lot of stuff going on. So they kind of said maybe. And eventually I was able to meet with them. And when I talked to them about those courses, which I think Gina, you know of those as well, just listening to them and the work that they were doing and what really is like exciting them was the work that they're doing with certification and educators and professional educators that work in tribal communities. So I thought, well, maybe community educators is not the best fit. Maybe I need to connect with Gina, and so that's where we were at, Gina, the last time we met. So that's where we're at in our
Real nascent
potential
stages.
partnership.
Yeah, I just want to bring that as a great example of an idea that was sparked from conversations and starting to talk about it and unpack it. And sometimes those come up and we find, oh yeah, this is actually more for community educators, or sometimes it's figuring out the audience and what the scope of the project is. But I thought it was just a really, really lovely project idea that you brought. But I'd like to, so thank you. There you go. I'd love to open it up to anyone else who has shared and ideas that they've been bringing to life in this space. So I'll just stop talking right now. So anyone else who would like to?
I just want to say something real quick. The multilingual learner course that I had the opportunity to work on, that was like a dream come true for me, right? Like as somebody who is now in my 30th year of teaching, and that has been at the heart of what I've done for the last 3 decades, to be able to share forward into a space at the ADE that, will help these foreign national teachers, right, to come into, I think I might have misspoke which one it was, but it was the one for the foreign national teachers, right?
Well, you did a lot. I
know I did do a lot.
I forgot.
And I'm sorry, I looked in your slide deck, but I was like, I can't wrap my brain around this right now. Gina, you just figure out what you're going to highlight. But that particular course, it was like, oh, thank goodness our state understands that it's so hard for foreign national teachers to come into American schools and just understand our education system, right? Because this is something that I've encountered on, the reciprocal side, like going to teach in another country. And so just knowing that something that I had a really strong passion about. Gina gave me the opportunity to, join the team for this summer, who I cannot speak more highly of. I was in those beginning stages with you all, and you all were so professional and organized and just really had like a streamlined sense of what you wanted to do. And we all were kind of trying to figure that out together. It was really rewarding. So for any faculty that's in this space hearing about all these amazing projects, I assure you that this is a team, as is pretty common for Mary Lou Fulton, but this is a particular team that really will make just about anything happen. And I'll lastly say that it was refreshing for me to work with partners all around the country. So like the America Succeeds group for the durable skills, which started in the summer and then had to be carried over into the semester. That was a big lift. It was very hard to translate their framework into an educational lens. And the struggle was worthwhile. And so it's very exciting to me to hear that people are enrolled in those courses. And yeah, I just encourage anybody to get involved.
Yeah, thanks for your involvement, Sarah, because you've done a lot of stuff. I forgot to put the multilingual course up here.
Hi, everyone. I'm just hanging out here. It's really exciting to hear what everyone else is working on. But yeah, Erin is also on the call and Cassie. And I think we now just from Project Oasis have one course that's live on the hub with two more in process, right, Erin? There she is, yeah. And I don't know if, Cassie, if you wanted to say anything about what it was like to be developing it.
Sure. I apologize. I have a cold, so it'll be a little unpleasant to listen to me, but I'll keep it short. So yeah, I had the privilege of developing a module for general education teachers around antecedent interventions in their classrooms, so things that they could do to support all students in creating a environment that is setting them up for success. So you can see in the module, it's called Low Intensity Behavior Support Strategies. And it was really, as a doc student, it was my first experience with curriculum development and developing online. And I found that Gina's department was incredibly supportive. They answered all my questions. They were also conversely open to my feedback, even though this was something I had never done before. They were willing to try new things. And so it was a really great experience. And I think we produced a high quality module for teacher education.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Cassie. And Kathy and Erin, keep it coming. Get the sped. We need more and more.
Yeah, Jesse couldn't be here today. I know he created one on the high leverage practices. He had a baby last night, so he's a little busy. But he kind of shared about the experience as well, and just that it might be kind of a long process to unpack, especially if you've created courses in kind of our academic program space. It's different than that, and so being able to translate into that more professional development space, but a great exercise, especially for those of us that do professional development trainings, to be able to hone that, what's going to be the most useful aspects for our teachers, for our leaders, and making it interactive and interesting and engaging in different ways. So it's a great process to go through that makes it much more accessible to a wider audience. And I'm still in the process of creating one on autism, because I know it's also really nice to be able to turn people in Oasis. We have 300 partners and community members that really, want different things, and being able to give them a resource that they can go to today is a really nice, activity to be able to, not say, well, someday we'll be able to come out and do a PD. We can't do them all, but, but now we have something to give them, right away that's responsive to exactly what they need.
Perfect. Thank you, Erin. Yeah, no, like really, really good insights, because as we talked about at the beginning, is that there's a mechanism here for amplifying and scaling work. And we can only be so many places, and there's more needs than there are of us to help sometimes. So thank you for that, you guys. Anyone else? Barbara, do you have anything?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was really excited for the opportunity to work on these courses, mathematical reasoning and argument, because in the field, mathematical reasoning is just something people say, well, you do, but it's not really defined. And there's a really cool 5-step model that is now in the field, produced by some colleagues in Boston, called the 5-step model for teaching mathematical argument in the elementary classroom. And so we were able to take that and turn it into this very concrete 1 credit experience. And my experience working with Kyle as a thought partner through the whole thing was just amazing. He saying, well, this is a little different than what we normally do. But we kept at it and turning it into something that I hope that teachers enjoy. I really enjoyed the experience. And I actually got to do that instead of teaching 2 courses that semester. So it was, really an opportunity to focus on designing curriculum, which is kind of my love. So it was great. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, thank you, Barbara, because it's all of these are such high needs areas, and the work continues to grow a catalog of really valuable offerings. So thank you. Was there anyone else that had any other thoughts, comments, questions, ideas? We are open to everything. And Sarup, I wasn't sure if this ended at 12:50, if it did, or 1 o'clock, but
We're
hopefully.
good. We're good. If there are any comments, questions, yeah.
I have a quick question. So for those of us that aren't as familiar with the Professional Educator Learning Hub and are interested, is there any way, because I noticed like if I look on the site, there are prices and stuff. Is there any way that we can kind of get access to some courses to kind of dip our
Yes.
toes into,
Yep.
because it's hard to, wrap your head around how you.
Totally. Yes, just email us, and you can either email me, but the person who's actually going to give you access is Megan DiFrancesco. So you can email us. My email is also at the end of the slide deck in the very last slide, so you can find that. But if you want access to see any of the courses, please let us know, and we'll thanks, Jared, and we'll give you access.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, with that, thank you guys very much for coming today. Please share ideas. There's always ways to connect, with this type of work through grants, content development, facilitation, new ideas. So much of what's happening here is because of new ideas that came out of someone somewhere, their knowledge of the field, their research, and what the needs are in the field. So please feel free to reach out to us anytime. Please think about partnerships, ways that you could partner with each other, with people in the college, outside of the college, or outside of the university as well. We have tons of those partnerships. So please feel free to bring your ideas to us. The link to the PELH is there, and if you should have access to the deck, and there are links all throughout to the different offerings that we talked about throughout the presentation. So with that, I'll stop sharing. I'll put the link to the slideshow one more time for anyone who came in after it was put there. And thank you guys so much. I'll pass it to
Thank
Sarup.
you, Gina. Thank you to you and to your team, and to all the faculty members who shared their experiences in working with the hub. So really, it was just not only inspirational, it was sort of, really creating this understanding about the opportunity that you have created, where we can grow our own work and share our own vision and see our work, how it can make a lasting effect of some sort. So thank you for being here. And I thank everybody in attendance who just took out the time. And I know it was a busy day with all the meetings that we had, but your presence means a lot. So happy Friday and a great weekend to all of you. And thank you, Jared, for all the technology support behind the scenes. So thank you, everybody.